I have chosen as a subject today the divine destruction of America. Can she avert it? America is the greatest nation on this earth and the greatest nation in the last 6,000 years. But America and her people, which includes you, face divine destruction. The question is, can she avert it?
What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to my space. This is Evans Rayola. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch today's video. On today's video, we want to talk about the divine destruction of America. You know, somebody would ask, why is America being distracted? Or what are the reasons, what are the cause for America to be distracted? And family, I'd start by sharing my idea. Myself, I think that America will be distracted because of the treatment black folks have been getting in America. I'm talking about the killings, I'm talking about racism, I'm talking about the discrimination black folks are facing in America. That alone, to me, makes me feel like America is pending a very serious distraction. To speak to us today is Louis Farrakhan. And in this specific video, Louis Farrakhan speaks about the divine destruction of America. Louis Farrakhan, on June 9th of 1996 at Mosque Mariam in Chicago. In this address, Farrakhan discusses themes of moral and spiritual decline in the United States, warning of impending divine retribution unless significant societal changes are made. He emphasizes the need for America to rectify its injustices, particularly those related to racial inequality and moral corruption. Farrakhan's message aligns with the teachings of the Nation of Islam, which often highlight the consequences of societal immorality and the importance of spiritual awakening. He asserts that America's persistent injustices, especially against African Americans and other marginalized groups, would mean that America is pending a divine destruction. So guys, I want you to watch this video of Louis Farrakhan explaining why America will be distracted. Once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this together, family.
I have chosen as a subject today the divine destruction of America. Can she avert it? America is the greatest nation on this earth and the greatest nation in the last 6,000 years. But America and her people, which includes you, face divine destruction. The question is, can she avert it? In the Holy Quran, in the 7th surah or chapter, in the 34th verse, it reads, "And every nation has a term. So when its term comes, they cannot remain behind the least while, nor can they precede it." If every nation has a term, does America have a term? And if so, what is the time? A term is a time or period to which something lasts. It is a period of time to which limits have been set, conditions or stipulations limiting what is proposed to be granted or done. So if every nation has a time to which some limits have been set, what time is it for America? And what limits have been set? In the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter, the 18th verse, it reads, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count or calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man 666." Some translations say it is the number of a man 666. The word calculate is trying to teach us that we must ascertain the beast and the man by mathematical methods. We have to compute now what this number means. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count, calculate the number of the beast. The beast and his term has to be calculated, for the beast number is the number of a man. 666. So we're dealing with a man that has characteristics like a beast. The book of Revelations closes, or is the closing of the Bible. It talks about 4 beasts. One of those beasts more terrible than the others. And that beast was taken and utterly destroyed, and its body given to the burning flames. Now you have a beast being destroyed, and you have fire, and you have to calculate time. Now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a principal helper in this calculation. And most of us, as black people in America, have not understood the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, nor have we understood his value to us to get us through what's about to come down on America. Now, either Elijah Muhammad is a man from God or he is not. If he is not, then we can dismiss me and what I have to say. But I don't think that you can dismiss me. And if you cannot dismiss the student, then you certainly cannot dismiss the teacher. Now, we have these numbers: 666. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that what we are entering into now is the judgment of the present world and its order. This world belongs to the Caucasian people. The number of the beast and the number of the man. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the beast is a man, but the number of the beast is compared to the number of the original man, which is also on the number 6. The Holy Quran and the Bible teach us that God made man on the 6th day, I think it was. The Holy Quran, well, the Bible says he made everything in 6 days. The Holy Quran says that Allah created the heavens and the earth in 6 periods of time. So 6 is the number of the originator, and 6 is the number of the beast. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the white race is not a natural man, but a man that came through a process of birth control, through a system of grafting. You can take it or leave it. The white people are not an ancient people, they are a new people on our earth. So the first 6, which is 600, could refer to the 600 years that it took on the island of Patmos or Pelan to graft this new people out of the original. Some of the foolish among us make mockery of these teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was being interviewed by a Harvard scholar, Dr. Henry Louis Gates, and Dr. Gates was saying how brilliant he thought the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was to craft this mythology, to get so many people to believe in this mythology. And I said to Mr. Gates, I said, sir, it's interesting to me that rather than give Elijah Muhammad credit for having received revelation, you would say he made up something that caught the fancy of the ignorant. Here's a man that went to the 4th grade of school and completed it, but he crafted a mythology that has mystified the scholars and the scientists. Now, either white people were here and they didn't come from us, or they did come from us. And their scholars are saying today that the original people are the black people of the earth. They are bearing witness to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So then, if you cannot produce a white man naturally, then what was the process by which he was brought on the earth? And for what purpose was the white man brought here? This is not racist teaching. This is actual facts. And before we leave today, you're going to have to deal with what I tell you. It may keep you up all night, all tomorrow, for a week or a month, but you're going to have to deal with what I tell you today. Now look, Jesus said to the Jews, I know you. You are of your father, the devil. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. So if the father was a liar and a murderer from the beginning, then lying and murder was born into the very nature of the people. Listen. The island of Patmos or Pelon was a womb. And whatever goes on outside the womb affects the nature of that which is being formed in the womb. If lying and murder of the darker, saving the lighter, marrying the lighter on to the lighter, murdering the darker, saving the lighter, and this went on for 600 years until a pale people was produced. Listen, human beings, but a different kind of human being. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let us give them power and dominion. That's how the white man got power. It was given to him divinely, but a certain limit and term was set on the white man's rule. You can take it or leave it, but I believe you're going to take it today. Why was their term limited? It was limited because their rule would be contrary to the eternal principles of truth and justice upon which the universe is based. And since the universe is based on the eternal principles of truth and justice, no unjust world can have any permanence in a universe balanced by justice. Are you listening? Yes, sir. Good. So then, if white folk created or made a world that is unjust, lies and murder and stealing at the root of this world, then this world can have no permanence in God's universe of truth. So there would come a time when this world would be judged and destroyed. We're on the same page? That is attested to in the Quran, in the Bible, that this world was doomed from its inception to be destroyed. All right. So we have 600, meaning the years it took to produce this people out of the original. There were 60,000 human beings, black human beings, involved in that process. And the last 6 represents 2 things. I'll get to the second thing that it represents later. But the first thing that the 6 represents is 6,000 years. After he had gone 6,000 years, his time is up. Then God comes, and the process of removal of his power and authority and himself begins. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that this 6 also could mean 60 years of grace, not to exceed 70, which means that on the time of God's coming and raising up a person to warn and deliver the message, from that moment grace begins. I'll get to that a little later, and we're going to calculate some time here. Now, the Both the Bible and the Quran speak of judgment and the hour and the day. The day of judgment and then the hour of doom. And if you look at the hour, in the hour you have 60 minutes. And in the minute you have 60 seconds. So the man whose hour has come is the man of 6. The doom, the hour now in the day of judgment has arrived. Said no man knoweth the hour but the Father. That means the hour of total destruction. And today I would like to inform you of how this destruction will take place. And I can only pray that you and I won't be in it. Now, in the book of Revelations, 14th chapter, the 6th and 7th verse, listen to this. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. I want to stop here with you a moment, and I hope that all of you are ready to think today. Look, here's another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach. Here is the Bible. And that which Jesus was given is called Bushra or Injil, which is gospel. Here's the book, Bible. Is this the everlasting gospel? Just think. Is this Quran the everlasting gospel? Is it? How do you know? How do you know? There got to be proof. Either it is or it isn't. If this is not the everlasting gospel, then there's a time set on these books. Well, that's a fact. But we have to know. Yes, sir. Look, brothers and sisters, neither of these books is the everlasting gospel. Yes, sir. And I'd like to take a moment to prove it. It won't take but a moment. Yes, in the Bible, this gospel is to be preached, right? Yes, to every nation, kindred, and tongue. But then this book says, I saw the Lamb, John talking, yes, and 144,000 on another shore singing a new song, right? This book says, Bible, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has it even entered into the heart of man to conceive what lies beyond the destruction of this world. So this could not be the everlasting gospel. Not this. It's good news, all right, but it's not the eternal good news. What about the Quran? Well, sorry about this, but this isn't either. The Quran only takes us up to the hereafter, the door of it, but it doesn't admit us in. And this book says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has it even entered into the heart of man to perceive or conceive what lies beyond the judgment of this world. This book takes you right up through the judgment. This book takes you right up through the judgment, but the guidance of the hereafter, where there is no term limit set, that is eternal on the other side, then there must be an everlasting gospel that will be preached on the other side of the destruction of this world. So a new book is coming. I want you to hear me. Now, brothers, sisters, Allah says in the Quran that He is master of the day of judgment. Tell me something. Why should there even be a judgment? Why? I mean, is there necessity for it? Many of you, my dear brothers, have been before the judges. And my dear brothers who've been before the judges, you know that these judges do not judge with justice. And some of you been before them enough that you don't even expect justice when you go. Is that right? Now, we can take our cases to court. It's natural. It's what a good citizen should do. But the judges of this world are not just judges. And because there is no real justice in this world, this is why the world is to be judged. And this is why there is a day of judgment and a limit set on America and this world. Now, what is the judgment? Judgment. When you get a judgment, what does that mean? I know you know. If anybody knows, we know. When you get a judgment, that means that a judge has rendered a decision. And that decision is called the judgment. The judgment is the ability to judge, to make a decision or form an opinion objectively, authoritatively, and wisely, especially in matters affecting action, good sense, discretion. Misfortune, regarded as afflicted by divine sentence, is also a judgment. Also, the last judgment, the final trial of all mankind, both the living and the dead, at the end of the world. So when we talk about judgment, we're talking about one, God's forming a decision. And God's decision comes down against America and against this world. Well, usually there's a clerk of the court, somebody that has to read the decision. Yes, now, the judge, you know where it came from, but your eyes are fastened on the clerk. Well, what is it? And if the decision is against you, the question is, what kind of power do you have?
Family, that was a very, very powerful speech. Louis Farrakhan says that America is spending a serious, distraction if they do not change their morality, if they do not change how they treat black folks in America. And I found that this video is very, very instrumental, and I thought that I should share with you guys. And I went further to do my research about this same topic, and here's what I found out: that Minister Louis Farrakhan's sermon on the divine destruction of America, can she avert it, is rooted in the teachings of the Nation of Islam, blending religious prophecy, social criticism, and political commentary. Here are some key themes and insights from that speech that you've just watched. Number one is America's moral and spiritual decline. Farrakhan argues that America has strayed from moral righteousness and is facing divine judgment because of the widespread corruption, immorality, and injustice. He draws parallels to biblical warnings about nations that ignore divine commandments, particularly Babylon and Egypt. We all know what happened to the Babylon. Them having to ignore the divine commandments. Family, this is not a rot that is only found in America. There are so many other countries that are not following the Lord's commandments. And in America specifically, Louis Farrakhan says that there is a lot of moral righteousness, and there is a moral righteousness facing, and they are bound to face divine judgment because of the widespread corruption, immorality, and injustice. Family, all these three things should be changed. Right now, you could be wondering what is happening in America. The constant racism abuses, racist abuses that black folks get. Now you're seeing the leadership of President Donald Trump. A lot of people are complaining, people are losing jobs. Some of these policies are not working for black Americans and other Americans, you know. And right now people are saying that enough is enough. They do not want this type of leadership. And you notice this could be some of these distraction that has been embedded in America because of the rot that is in America. Then number two, we have the treatment of black Americans. A central part of his speech focuses on racial injustice, emphasizing the historical oppression of black people in the United States. He warns that America's failure to atone for slavery, systemic racism, and economic exploitation will lead to divine punishment. Family, it would be crazy, you know, how the black people have been treated over the years, from the days of slavery to right now where there is a lot of racism against the black man. This one would lead to a lot of destruction to America, because these black folks are also human beings. They should be treated as equals. They are nothing less of white people. So the historical oppression of black people in the United States would just bring a lot of judgment to this nation. It's time that the white supremacists and people who have racist ideologies to sit down with other black folks and try and find a solution. Treat them well, you know, like fellow human beings. Then number three, we have the economic and political corruption. Farrakhan critiques corporate greed, government corruption, and military oppression, arguing that America's pursuit of power and wealth comes at the expense of morality and justice. He likens America's global dominance to empires that ultimately fell due to arrogance and oppression. Number four, we have the biblical and Quranic references. He often cites religious texts warning that the US is fulfilling prophecies of destruction seen in the Bible and the Quran. He suggests that natural disasters, economic instability, and social unrest are signs of the impending judgment that America is yet to face. Number five is a call for repentance and reform. Louis Farrakhan says that it's time that now people in America try and reform, try and amend the mistakes they've been doing. Despite his strong warnings, Farrakhan also suggests that America can avoid destruction if it changes course. This would require addressing racial inequalities. Right there, America really needs to address it. Racial inequalities is one of the biggest problems that is yet to be solved in America and all over the world. If people can solve this problem, this rot of racial inequalities, then now the world would face the world will just be in a good direction. Then we have economic disparities and moral corruption through spiritual renewal and justice. Number 6, we have the role of the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan positions the Nation of Islam as a guiding force for black empowerment and moral righteousness, arguing black Americans to separate from the dominant culture and embrace self-sufficiency, education, and faith. This teaching is relevant today. Many of these themes Farrakhan discussed in 1996, the racial tensions, the political corruption, economic instability, and moral debates remain highly relevant. His critique of systemic oppression continues to resonate with some, while others view his rhetoric as polarizing. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch this video. I do not take your support for granted. Kindly like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'll be so grateful, guys. You can also like this video, guys, and guys, comment down below, let me know what you think about this video. Thank you, and see you all in my next episode. Goodbye.